Well, Shabbat Shalom, Mishpacha and Havarim, and all who join us here to fellowship in the Word with the book of Yobelim, the book of Jubilees. Today we'll read chapters 31 through 35, but before we start, let's bow our hearts and pitch this tent with Yahweh, our Kodesh Elohim. Most beloved Abba Yahweh, we come before you most humbly to worship you, to praise you and to glorify you, lifting up your name with all esteem. And we thank you, most beloved Abba, for bringing us here in fellowship with your word. Please open up our eyes, ears and hearts to see, hear and understand with your wisdom, knowledge and understanding, and not just our own. Fill us full of your Ruach HaKodesh, your spirit of dedication, and have us not to look toward each other for the understanding of what's around us, but to bring it all to you, Father. Bring everything to you. Your guidance is what we seek. Your truth and your way is what we're searching for. Only you do we worship, and only you do we ask for help, Father. Change us inside, that we may shine on the outside with your light and your truth. Through Yeshua in Yahweh we pray. Yahweh, our Kodesh dedicated Elohim. Yahweh Ehad, Yahweh is one. Amen. Hello everyone, so we're on the river in Northampton in the UK. Sun's going down, looked quite pretty. I thought I'd show you where I sit and sometimes be comfortable looking at God's world, Yahweh's world. Now, let's get comfortable while we sit here and ready to hear from our hearts. The glossary and the pronunciation guide are up for your reference when you're ready. Let's read chapter 31. And on the new moon of the month, Yaakov spoke to all the people of his house, saying, Purify yourselves and change your garments, and let us arise and go up to Beth El. And I vowed a vow to him on the day when I fled from the face of Esau my brother, because he has been with me and brought me into this land in peace, and put you away, the strange mighty ones that are among you. And they gave up the strange mighty ones, and that which was in their ears, and which was on their necks, and the idols which Rahel stole from Laban her brother. She gave all to Yaakov, and he burned and broke them to pieces, and destroyed them, and hid them under a terebinth, which is in the land of Shechem. And he went up on the new moon of the 7th month to Beth El, and he built an altar at the place where he had slept. And he put up a standing column there, and he sent word to his father Yitzchak to come to him to his offering, and to his mother Rivkah. And Yitzchak said, Let my son Yaakov come, and let me see him before I die. And Yaakov went to his father Yitzchak and to his mother Rivkah to the house of his father Abraham. And he took 2 of his sons with him, Levi and Yehudah. And he came to his father Yitzchak and to his mother Rivkah. And Rivkah came out from the tower to the front of it to kiss Yaakov and embrace him, for her spirit had revived when she heard, See, Yaakov your son has come. And she kissed him, and she saw his 2 sons, and she recognized them and said to him, Are these your sons, my son? And she embraced them and kissed them and baraked them, saying, In you shall the seed of Abraham become great, and you shall prove a beracha, a blessing on the earth. And Yaakov went in to Yitzchak his father, to the chamber where he lay, and his 2 sons were with him. And he took the hand of his father, and stooping down he kissed him, and Yitzchak clung to the neck of Yaakov his son, and wept upon his neck. And the darkness left the eyes of Yitzchak, and he saw the two sons of Yaakov, Levi and Yehudah. And he said, Are these your sons, my son? For they are like you. And he said to him, that they were truly his sons. And you have indeed seen that they are truly my sons. And they came near to him, and he turned and kissed them and embraced them both together. And the spirit of Nevuah came down into his mouth, and he took Levi by his right hand and Yehudah by his left. And he turned to Levi first, and began to barak him first, and said to him, May the Elohim of all, the very Adon of all the ages, barak you and your children throughout all the ages, and may Yahweh give to you and to your seed greatness and great esteem, and cause you and your seed from among all flesh to approach him, to serve in his mikdash, as the messengers of the presence and as the Kodeshim, as they shall the seed of your sons be, for esteem and greatness and Kodeshah, and may he make them great unto all generations. And they shall be princes and judges and chiefs of all the seed of the sons of Yaakov. They shall speak the word of Yahweh in righteousness, and they shall rightly rule all his right rulings in righteousness. And they shall declare my ways to Yaakov, and my paths to Yisrael. The berachah of Yahweh shall be given in their mouths to Barach, all the seed of the beloved. Your mother has called your name Levi, and rightly she has called your name. You shall be joined to Yahweh, and be the companion of all the sons of Yaakov. Let his table be yours, and you and your sons shall eat of it, and may your table be full until all generations, and your food not fail until all generations. And let all who hate you fall down before you, and let all your adversaries be rooted out and perish. And Baruch is he that barach you. Blessed is he that blesses you. And cursed is every nation that curses you. And to Yehudah he said, May Yahweh give you strength and power to tread down all that hate you. A prince you shall be, you and one of your sons over the sons of Yaakov. May your name and the name of your sons go forth and cover every land and reign, that the Gentiles fear before your face, and all the nations shall quake. In you shall be the help of Yaakov, and in you be found the deliverance of Yisrael. And when you sit on the throne of the honour of your righteousness, there shall be great peace for all the seed of the sons of the beloved. And Baruch shall he be that barach you. And all that hate you and afflict you and curse you shall be rooted out and destroyed from the earth and accursed. And turning, he kissed him again and embraced him and rejoiced greatly, for he had seen the sons of Yaakov his son in great truth, and went forth from between his feet, and fell down and worshipped him. And he barach them, and rested there with Yitzchak his father that night, and they ate and drank with joy. And he made the two sons of Yaakov sleep, the one on his right hand, and the other on his left hand, and it was counted to him for righteousness. And Yaakov told his father all during the night, how Yahweh had shown him great kindness, and how he had prospered all his ways, and protected him from all evil. And Yitzchak barak the Elohim of his father Avraham, who had not withdrawn his kindness, and his righteousness from the sons of his servant Yitzchak. And in the morning Yaakov told his father Yitzchak the vow which he had vowed to Yahweh, and the vision which he had seen, and that he had built an altar, and that all was ready for the offering to be made before Yahweh, as he had vowed, and that he had come to place him on a donkey. And Yitzchak said to Yaakov his son, I am not able to go with you, for I am old, and not able to bear the way. Go in peace, my son, for I am 165 years this day. Wow. I am no longer able to journey. Appoint your mother and let her go with you. And I know, my son, that you have come on my account, and may this day be Baruch, on which you have seen me alive. And I also have seen you, my son. May you prosper and complete the vow which you have vowed, and not put off your vow, for you shall be called to account concerning the vow. Now therefore make haste to perform it, and may he be blessed, who has made all matters, to whom you have vowed the vow. And he said to Rivkah, Go with Yaakov your son. And Rivkah went with Yaakov her son, and Deborah with her. And they came to Beth El. And Yaakov remembered the prayer with which his father had baraked him and his two sons, Levi and Yehudah. And he rejoiced and baraked the Elohim of his father Abraham and Yitzchak. And he said, Now I know that I have an everlasting hope, and my sons also before the Elohim of all, and thus is it ordained concerning the two. And they recorded it as an everlasting witness to them on the tablets of the Shamayim, how Yitzchak baraked them. Chapter 32. And he stayed that night at Beth El, and Levi dreamed that they had ordained and made him the Kohen of the Most High El, the priest of the Most High El, he and his sons forever. And he awoke from his sleep and baraked Yahweh. And Yaakov rose early in the morning on the 14th of this month, and he gave a tithe of all that came with him, both of men and cattle, both of gold and every vessel and garment. He even gave tithes of all. And in those days Rachel became pregnant with her son Binyamin, and Yaakov counted his sons from him upwards. And Levi fell to the portion of Yahweh, and his father clothed him in the garments of the Kahunah, and filled his hands. And on the 15th of this month he brought to the altar 14 bulls from among the cattle, and 28 rams, and 49 sheep, and 7 lambs, and 21 young goats, as a burnt offering on the altar of offering, well pleasing as a sweet fragrance before Elohim. This was his offering, because of the vow which he had vowed, that he would give a tenth with their grain offerings and their drink offerings. And when the fire had consumed it, he burned incense on the fire, over the fire. And for a slaughtering of thanksgiving, 2 bulls and 4 rams and 4 sheep, 4 goats and 2 sheep of a year old, and 2 young goats. And thus he did daily for 7 days. And he and all his sons and his men were eating with joy there during 7 days, and berachah, and thanking Yahweh, who had delivered him out of all his tribulation, and had given him his vow. And he tithed all the clean beasts, and made a burnt offering. But the unclean beasts he gave to Levi his son, and he gave him all the beings of the men. And Levi served as Kohen at Beth El before Yaakov, his father, in preference to his 10 brothers, and he was a Kohen there, and Yaakov gave his vow. Thus he tithed again the tithe to Yahweh, and kadosh it, and it became kodesh unto him. And for this reason it is ordained on the tablets of the Shamayim as a law for the tithe, furthermore to eat the tithe before Yahweh from year to year in the place where it is chosen that his name should dwell. And to this law there is no limit of days forever. This law is written that it may be fulfilled from year to year in eating the second tithe before Yahweh in the place where it has been chosen, and none shall remain over from it from this year to the year following. For in its year the seed shall be eaten till the days of the gathering of the seed of the year, and the wine till the days of the wine, and the oil till the days of its season. And all that is left of it and becomes old, let it be regarded as polluted, let it be turned with fire, for it is unclean. And so let them eat it together in the mikdash, and let them not allow it to become old. And all the tithes of the bulls and sheep shall be kodesh unto Yahweh, and shall belong to his Kohanim, which they shall eat before him from year to year. For so it is ordained and engraved regarding the tithe on the tablets of the Shamayim. And on the following night, on the 22nd day of this month, Yaakov resolved to build that place, and to surround the courtyard with a wall, and to kadosh it, and make it kodesh forever, dedicate it, and make it dedicated forever, for himself and his children after him. And Yahweh appeared to him by night, and barach him, and said to him, Your name shall not be called Yaakov, but they shall name your name Yisrael. And he said to him further, I am Yahweh, who created the Shamayim and the earth, and I shall increase you and multiply you exceedingly. And sovereigns shall come forth from you, and they shall rightly rule everywhere, wherever the foot of the Son of Men has trodden. And I shall give to your seed all the earth which is under the Shamayim, and they shall rightly rule all the nations according to their desires. And after that they shall gain possession of the whole earth and inherit it forever. And he finished speaking with him. And he went up from him, and Yaakov looked till he had ascended into the Shamayim. And he saw in a vision of the night, and see, a messenger descended from the Shamayim with 7 tablets in his hands, and he gave them to Yaakov, and he read them, and knew all that was written therein, which would come upon him and his sons throughout all the ages. And he showed him all that was written on the tablets, and said to him, Do not build this place, and do not make it an everlasting mikdash, and do not dwell here, for this is not the place. Go to the house of Abraham your father, and dwell with Yitzchak your father, until the day of the death of your father. For in Mitzrayim you shall die in peace, and in this land you shall be buried with honour in the grave of your fathers, with Abraham and Yitzchak. Do not fear, for as you have seen and read, so it shall be, so it shall all be. And you shall write down all as you have seen and read. And Yaakov said, Adonai, how can I remember all that I have seen and read? And he said to him, I shall bring all matters to your remembrance. And he went up from him, and he awoke from his sleep, and he remembered all which he had read and seen, and he wrote down all the words which he had read and seen. And he celebrated there yet another day, and on it he slaughtered according to all that he slaughtered on the former days, and called its name Addition. For this day was added, and the former days he called the feast. And so it was revealed that it should be. And it is written on the tablets of the Shamayim, before it was revealed to him, that he should celebrate it, and add it to the 7 days of the feast. It's an 8-day feast. And its name was called Addition, because it was recorded among the days of the feast days, according to the number of the days of the year. And in the night, on the 23rd of this month, Deborah, Rivkah's nurse, died, and they buried her beneath the city under the terebinth of the river. And he called the name of this place the river of Deborah, and the terebinth of the morning of Deborah. And Rivkah went and returned to her house to his father Yitzchak. And Yaakov sent by her hand rams and sheep and goats, that she should prepare a meal for his father such as he desired. And he went after his mother till he came to the land of Kavratan, and he dwelt there, and Rahel bore a son in the night, and called his name Ben-Oni, for she suffered in giving him birth. But his father called his name Binyamin, on the 11th of the 8th month, in the 1st of the 6th week of this Yobelim. And Rahel died there, and she was buried in the land of Ephrath, the same in Bethlehem. And Yaakov built a standing column on the grave of Rahel, on the road above her grave. Chapter 33. And Yaakov went and dwelt to the south of Magdala-Draif, and he went to his father Yitzchak, he and Leah his wife, on a new moon, on the 10th month. And Reuven saw Bilhah, Rahel's female servant, and the concubine of his father, washing in water in a secret place, and he loved her. And he hid himself at night, and he entered the house of Bilhah, and he found her sleeping alone on a bed in her house. And he lay with her, and she awoke and looked, and see, Reuven was lying with her in the bed. And she uncovered the border of her covering, and seized him, and cried out, and discovered that it was Reuven. And she was ashamed because of him, and released her hand from him, and he fled. And she lamented because of this matter exceedingly, and did not tell it to anyone. And when Yaakov returned and sought her, she said to him, I am unclean for you, for I have been defiled in regard to you, for Reuven has defiled me, and has lain with me in the night, and I was asleep, and did not discover until he uncovered my skirt and slept with me. And Yaakov was exceedingly wroth with Reuven, because he had lain with Bilhah, because he had uncovered his father's skirt. And Yaakov did not approach her again, because Reuven had defiled her. And as for any man who uncovers his father's skirt, his deed is exceedingly wicked, for he is abominable before Yahweh. For this reason it is written and ordained on the tablets of the Shamayim that a man should not lie with his father's wife, and should not uncover his father's skirt, for this is unclean. They shall certainly die together, the man who lies with his father's wife, and the woman also. For they have wrought uncleanness on the earth, and there shall be none unclean before our Elohim, in the nation which he has chosen for himself as a possession. And again, it is written a second time, Cursed is he who lies with the wife of his father, for he has uncovered his father's shame. And all the Kodeshim of Yahweh said, So be it, so be it. And you, Moshe, shall command the children of Israel that they observe this word. A punishment of death is for it, and it is unclean, and there is no atonement forever to atone for the man who has committed this. But he is to be put to death and slain, and stoned with stones, and rooted out from the midst of the people of our Elohim. For to no man who does so in Yisrael is it permitted to remain alive a single day on the earth, for he is abominable and unclean. And let them not say to Reuven was granted life and forgiveness after he had lain with his father's concubine. And to her also, although she had a husband, and her husband Yaakov, his father, was still alive. For until that time there had not been revealed the law and right ruling and Torah in its completeness for all, but in your days as a law of seasons and of days, and an everlasting law for the generations forever. And for this law there is no end of days, and no atonement for it, but they must both be rooted out in the midst of the nation. On the day on which they committed it, they shall slay them. And you, Moshe, shall write down for Yisrael, that they may observe it, and do according to these words, and not commit a sin unto death. For Yahweh our Elohim is judge, who does not respect faces and accepts no bribes. And tell them these words of the covenant, that they may hear and observe, and be on their guard in regard to them, and not be destroyed and rooted out of the land. For all they who do so are an uncleanness and an abomination, and a contamination and a pollution on the earth before our Elohim. And there is no greater sin than the whoring which they commit on earth. For Israel is a Kodesh nation unto Yahweh its Elohim, and a nation of inheritance, and a kahunah, and royal nation, and for a possession. And no such uncleanness shall appear in the midst of the Kodesh nation. And in the 3rd year of this 6th week, Yaakov and all his sons went and dwelt in the house of Avraham near Yitzchak his father, and Rivkah his mother. And these were the names of the sons of Yaakov. The firstborn, Reuven, Shimon, Levi, Yehudah, Yissachar, Zebulun, the son of Leah, and the sons of Rachel, Yosef, and Binyamin, and the sons of Bilhah, Dan, and Naphtali, and the sons of Zilpah, Gad, and Asher, and Dinah, the daughter of Leah, the only daughter of Yaakov. And they came and bowed themselves to Yitzchak and Rivkah. And when they saw them, they barak Yaakov and all his sons, and Yitzchak rejoiced exceedingly, for he saw the sons of Yaakov, his younger son, and he barak them. Chapter 34. And in the 6th year of this week, of this 44th Yovel, Yaakov sent his sons to pasture their sheep, and his servants with them to pastures of Shechem. And the 7 sovereigns of the Amorites assembled themselves together against them, to slay them, hiding themselves under the trees, and to take their cattle as plunder. And Yaakov and Levi and Yehudah and Yosef were in the house with Yitzchak their father, for his spirit was sorrowful, and they could not leave him. And Binyamin was the youngest, and for this reason remained with his father. And there came the sovereign of Tappuah, and the sovereign of Hatzor, and the sovereign of Saregan, and the sovereign of Shiloh, and the sovereign of Gaash, and the sovereign of Beth Horon, and the sovereign of Shakir Ma'ani, and all those who dwell in these mountains, who dwell in the woods, in the land of Canaan. And they announced this to Yaakov, saying, See, the sovereigns of the Amorites have surrounded your sons and plundered their herds. And he arose from his house, he and his 3 sons, and all the servants of his father, and his own servants, and he went against them with 6,000 men who carried swords. Wow. And he slew them in the pastures of Shechem, and pursued those who fled. And he slew them with the edge of the sword, and he slew Aresa, and Taphu, and Saregan, and Shiloh, and Amanis Akir, and Gaash, and he recovered his herds. And he prevailed over them, and imposed tribute on them, that they should pay him tribute, 5 fruit products of their land. And he built Rovel and Tamnatares. And he returned in peace, and made peace with them. And they became his servants until the day that he and his sons went down into Mitzrayim. And in the 7th year of this week he sent Yosef to the land of Shechem, to learn about the welfare of his brothers from his house. And he found them in the land of Dothan. And they dwelt treacherously with him, and formed a plot against him to slay him. But changing their minds, they sold him to Ishmaelite merchants. And they brought him down into Mitzrayim, and they sold him to Potiphar, the eunuch of Pharaoh, the chief of the guard, priest of the city of Elo. And the sons of Yaakov slaughtered a goat, and dipped the coat of Yosef in the blood, and sent to Yaakov their father on the 10th of the 7th month. And he mourned all that night, for they had brought it to him in the evening. And he became feverish with mourning for his death. And he said, An evil beast has devoured Yosef. And all the members of his house were grieving and mourning with him all that day. And his sons and his daughter rose up to comfort him, but he refused to be comforted for his son. And on that day Bilhah heard that Yosef had perished, and she died mourning him, and she was living in Kaphrateph. And Dinah his daughter also died after Yosef had perished. And there came these 3 mournings upon Israel in 1 month. And they buried Bilhah opposite the tomb of Rachel, and Dinah his daughter they also buried there. And he mourned for Yosef 1 year, and did not cease. For he said, Let me go down to the grave mourning for my son. For this reason it is ordained for the children of Israel that they should afflict themselves on the 10th of the 7th month, on the day that the news which made him weep for Yosef came to Yaakov his father, that on it they should make atonement for themselves with a goat, a young goat, on the 10th of the 7th month, once a year, for their sins. For they had grieved the affection of their father regarding Yosef his father. And this day has been ordained that they should grieve thereon for their sins, and for all their transgressions, and for all their strayings, so that they might cleanse themselves on that day once a year. And after Yosef perished, the sons of Yaakov took unto themselves wives. The name of Reuven's wife is Adah, and the name of Shimon's wife is Adibah, a Canaanite. And the name of Lewi's wife is Milcah, of the daughters of Aram, of the seed of the sons of Terah. And the name of Yahudah's wife, Betsuel, a Canaanite. And the name of Issachar's wife, Hazakah. And the name of Zebulun's wife, Ne'imam. And the name of Dan's wife, Echlah. And the name of Naphtali's wife, Rasu'u, of Aram Naharaim. And the name of Gad's wife, Ma'akah. And the name of Asher's wife, Yonah. And the name of Yosef's wife, Asenath, the Mitzrite. And the name of Binyamin's wife, Yasakah. And Shimon repented and took a second wife from Aram Naharaim as his brothers. Chapter 35. And in the first year of the first week of the 44th Yovel, Rivkah called Yaakov her son and commanded him regarding his father and regarding his brother, that he should honour them all the days of his life. And Yaakov said, I shall do all as you have commanded me. For this matter shall be honour and greatness to me, and righteousness before Yahweh, that I should honour them. And you too, mother, know from the time I was born until this day all my deeds and all that is in my heart, that I always think good concerning all. And how should I not do this matter, which you have commanded me, that I should honour my father and my brother? Tell me, mother, what perversity have you seen in me, and I shall turn away from it, and kindness shall be upon me. And she said to him, My son, I have not seen in you all my days any perversity, but upright deeds. And yet I shall tell you the truth, my son. I shall die this year, and I shall not survive this year in my life. For I have seen in a dream the day of my death, that I should not live beyond 155 years. And see, I have completed all the days of my life which I am to live. And Yaakov laughed at the words of his mother, because his mother had said to him that she should die. But she was sitting opposite to him, in the possession of her strength, and she was not weak in her strength. For she went in and out and saw, and her teeth were strong, and no sickness had touched her all the days of her life. And Yaakov said to her, Baruch am I, mother, for my days approach the days of your life. If my days approach the days of your life, and my strength remain with me, such as your strength, but you shall not die, for you are joking idly with me regarding your death. And she went in to Yitzchak and said to him, One petition I make unto you. Make Esau swear that he shall not injure Yaakov nor pursue him with enmity. For you know Esau's thoughts, that they are perverse from his youth, and there is no goodness in him, for he desires after your death to kill him. And you know all that he has done since the day Yaakov his brother went to Haran until this day, how he has forsaken us with his whole heart, and has done evil to us. He has taken your flocks to himself, and carried off all your possessions, from before your face. And when we implored and pleaded with him for what was our own, he did as a man who was taking pity on us. And he is bitter against you because you Barak Yaakov, your perfect and upright son. For there is no evil, but only goodness in him. And since he came from Haran unto this day, he has not robbed us of any matter, for he brings us all in its season always, and rejoices with all his heart when we take at his hands. And he barak us, and has not parted from us, since he came from Haran until this day. And he remains with us continually at home, honouring us. And Yitzchak said to her, I too know and see the deeds of Yaakov, who is with us, how that with all his heart he honours us. And I loved Esau formerly more than Yaakov, because he was the firstborn. But now I love Yaakov more than Esau, for he has done many evil deeds, and there is no righteousness in him, for all his ways are unrighteousness and violence. And now my heart is troubled because of all his deeds, and neither he nor his seed is to be saved, for they are those who shall be destroyed from the earth. And who shall be rooted out from under the Shamayim? For he has forsaken the Elohim of Avraham, and gone after his wives, and after their uncleanness, and after their straying, he and his children. And you command me to make him swear that he shall not slay Yaakov his brother. Even if he swears, he shall not keep his oath, and he shall do no good, but only evil. But if he desires to slay Yaakov his brother, into Yaakov's hands he shall be given, and he shall not escape from his hands. And do not fear on account of Yaakov, for the guardian of Yaakov is great and powerful and honoured, and praised more than the guardian of Esau. And Rivkah sent and called Esau, and he came to her, and she said to him, I have a petition, my son, to make unto you, and you shall promise to do it, my son. And he said, I shall do all that you say to me, and I shall not refuse your petition. And she said to him, I ask you that the day I die, you shall take me and bury me near Sarah, your father's mother, and that you and Yaakov shall love each other, and that neither shall desire evil against the other, but mutual love only. And you shall prosper, my sons, and be honoured in the midst of the land, and no enemy shall rejoice over you. And you shall be a berachah, a blessing and a kindness in the eyes of all those that love you. And he said, I shall do all that you have told me, and I shall bury you on the day you die near Sarah, my father's mother, and you have, as you have desired, that her bones may be near your bones. And Yaakov, my brother, also I shall love above all flesh, for I have no brother in all the earth but him only. And this is no great merit for me, if I love him. For he is my brother, and we were knit together in your body, and together we came forth from your womb. And if I do not love my brother, whom shall I love? And I myself beg you to urge Yaakov concerning me, and concerning my sons, for I know that he shall surely be sovereign over my sons and I. For on the day my father barak him, he made him the higher, and I the lower. And I swear to you that I shall love him, and not desire evil against him all the days of my life, but only good. And he swore to her regarding all this matter. And she called Yaakov before the eyes of Esau, and gave him command according to the words which she had spoken to Esau. And he said, I shall do your desire. Believe me, that no evil shall proceed from me or from my sons against Esau, and I shall be first in none, except in love only. And they ate and drank, she and her sons, that night. And she died 3 Yobelim, and 1 week and 1 year old on that night. And her 2 sons Esau and Yaakov buried her in the cave of Machpelah near Sarah, their father's mother. And end of chapter 35. Isn't it amazing how we feel love for all these people through the word? Praise Abba. It's like reading about our ancient family. Most beloved Abba Yahweh Elohim, to the Abba for bringing us together in fellowship with your word, for opening up our eyes, ears and hearts to your wisdom, knowledge and understanding. You are filling us up with your truth and love, keeping us busy where we await our Adon. Humbled I stand firm before your gaze and ask that you empty us out of our worldly desires and fill us full of the life-giving desire for you to be our only aim, to place you as one on a list of one every moment of our existence. To the Abba, for all you teach us in so many ways. You are our lasting rock and stronghold. Use us for your will where you will. Surround us all with your Gedeh HaKodesh and keep us safe in the shadow of your wing. I know all will work in your favour as we wait in obedience to be with you. Come, Yeshua, come. The time draws close. Turn as many faces to you as possible and have your will be done here on earth as it is in the Shamayim. Through Yeshua, in Yahweh I ask and pray. Yahweh, Kodesh and Ehad, Elohim. Amen. And thank you to the Mishpacha and Havarim and all who join us here. Onward and upward. Many Berachoth, blessings, and much ahav, much love to you all. Stay in his peace with love and trust. We'll see you all soon, here or there. Yireh Yahweh.
I hear the farmers crying, kingdom come. I see the horrifying things we've done. I want to go way down by the end of the road, all the way to kingdom come. Father in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy will be done on earth, oh hear me pray. Give us this day. Let our needs get met along the way. And most of all I pray you, let your kingdom come. Yeah, kingdom come. All our brightest dreams are shadowed by the that cry has reached your ears. Your heart gets